Hello there folks, welcome back to another video, and in this one we have more bits and bobs for us to look at from the wonderful folks at Bonstark Miniatures. These are based on the Dandelions of Middle-earth range that they produce, and they do the 3D printing from as a licensee, I suppose, a merchant. A few weeks ago, a month ago now, you may remember that I'm diving into doing my young Thorin-inspired army. And I mentioned that it would be really, really tough to actually try and do a evil army using the Games Workshop stuff because it's incredibly expensive. And so Bonsark reached out and were like, hey, we know you want to do this. How about we build you, well, we print off a bunch of these Dandelion In Middle-earth orc bodies for you to use. So these are from their Legions of the North collection, which would be a great analogue for the Ogre forces if you're building them up under the likes of Azog and Bolg and all that kind of thing. So you have a couple of different bits and bobs to choose from when you're diving into this. You get all these different body types. So I think there's 3 that they give you as part of the set. You've got that one sort of running forward. You have this fellow here who's sort of striding, and you've got room for obviously the shield arm in there as well, and an open palm bit for their weapon. And you have this guy's a little bit more on guard, I suppose you'd say, when it comes to these figures. Then you get a whole bunch of different accessories. So you have things like these badass swords, slightly more cruel version of them there as well, which is very nice. And then big spears too, which is always good to see. Very oversized, but perfect for sticking an orc. Sticking an orc? Well, I suppose you would do. They are quite treacherous. But also sticking a dwarf as well. As well as a bunch of these different shield designs and things like that. For you to stick on their arms, they come with a little indentation on the other side, so they easily fit snugly with their various arm options that they get. You also then get a ton of different tiny heads. So this is one of the captain heads. So if you're building one of your generals or your captains in your warband, because you can have Gundabad orc captains and things like that, that's a choice for you to go in and get that one there. They also sell lots and lots of different designs that are very in keeping with the kind of style of miniature that you would have seen, style of creature that you would have seen in the Hobbit movies, the Peter Jackson designs and things like that from Weta. I will say that the actual bits themselves are very, very nice. They're all made, obviously, of 3D printed resin. They're very clean. I've not really had to do much in the way of cleanup or anything on these. They've all come out really, really nicely. And they're incredibly detailed as well, so they're going to be nice when I get some spray paint on them. You will need to use super glue for binding these. Plastic glue won't cut it, as you might expect, but they give you some nice options on that front too. You even have things like this banner and things like that, which is really cool, which is great as an objective marker, as well as it being solid for your particular figures. And even though that's quite thin, there you can sort of see through it. It's actually still quite rigid. There's no flex in it or anything, so it's proper, nice, hard resin for these miniatures, which is always good to see. So you got those options there, and I thought I'd build a few of these different characters so you can get a look at them. So this was one of the guys that I built with his melee weapon at the ready, so he's sort of ready for the action, about to charge in and kill some dwarves. Thought he looked very cool, very sort of elite troops for you to use. And then, of course, I've got this guy here with, let's get that focused, with his curved blade and sword up, again using a different one of the body options there, but equally as awesome. And then you have this fellow here I did with the big spear. Again, could use him as a captain, but he's got a sort of unhelmeted head, which is really cool. So a nice little option for you too. And those spears are chunky, so they're not going to be breaking anytime soon, which is one of the problems that a lot of people sometimes have with their resin. To give you a contrast, let's find a Games Workshop orc. So that's one that I've painted in the past. And I think we'll use this guy, shall we? Let's use this guy. So once he's on his base, about the same size and proportions as Middle-earth figure, so pretty nailed on in terms of scale. Will work very nicely with what you've already got in your collection. as chunky, etc. as well, which is always good to see. So they work out scale-wise, which is always nice. Let's see if we can show him off against a different character. So let's have him against an Orc Spearman. Again, matches up quite nicely. Proportions are relatively similar in style, so very good for those people who are trying to match things up with their collection, which is always nice to see. So yes, some nice little options on that front. I now think I probably have enough bits and pieces to make this warband 10 times over. Lots of different bodies and things like that, so I'm going to have some fun building those at a later point once I've got my dwarves done. Yes, don't worry, I am still getting the dwarves done. They are packaged up very nicely too, so you get them in these little baggies. So that's all of your different weapon options. That's all of your different heads, a little bit of ASMR. There's your elite options too. So you've got lots of nice little bits and pieces for you to choose from on that front. And then as a little bonus, I've got some of these lovely trolls, ogres, thrown into the mix too. Really nice little bits and pieces. I think these are also from Dandelion In Middle-earth, although I could be mistaken. I'll put some links down below when I work it out. But some nice little options there for you to choose from. And again, look at the resin, really nice and crisp. Not really much in the way of cleanup to do. All sort of ready and raring to be used on the tabletop. Let's do a little bit of a comparison against a classic Citadel troll, shall we? Oh, so I think they're meant to be the ogres, aren't they? That design. So a little bit smaller than a cave troll, but equally as cool, and will be fun to use as some of the elite options in my army, which is always nice. So it's not just going to be ranks and ranks and legions and that kind of thing. So yeah, as I say, some fun stuff there from Bonstark Miniatures, building on their Dandelions in Middle-earth range. Just wanted to give a little tiny video sort of talking about this as a thank you to them for sending them my way. Thought they were really fun, and if you are looking for some alternatives for building your Gundabad forces, this might be a nice option for you to choose from on the tabletop. But yeah, went together really nice and easily with a little bit of super glue, and there's lots and lots of different pieces, as you can see here. So many. So yes, please let me know what you think of those in the comments, and I'll have some links down there as well, so you can go and check out what else they do. Right, that's me done with this little unboxing-y, review-y type thing. I now should probably go and paint those dwarves. Seems like a good idea. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in a new one very, very soon. Bit of an ad hoc video, but a nice, fun one, I think, for those people looking for alternatives. Comment, like, share, subscribe to all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye for now.